And ko ta ki kan to ne to te pe chi mun che tao ye ne ma to ke la yo la mu ti ten to ke la ye
mua họ thế tôi mà you bé họ lời tệ mà thế tôi you bỏ thế giờ kia you cho cái chuyện này tệ you ba nữa tệ bên nào nữa tua rồi nè nữa tua rồi tệ you chân trai cho cô đứa này phụ cả liền
Thousands of people abandoned in Vietnam. A secret war unknown to the United States public ravages the Hmong population. Time ticks down as war draws closer to an end. What right did the U.S. have to abandon these people, and how did they get away with it? Who were the Hmong? Origins for the ethnic group trace back 4,000 3,000 BCE, with early evidence suggesting a place of origin near the Yellow River, China. Most of the historical timeline, they continue to live in Imperial China, nearly culturally independent. For thousands of years, they fought to protect this independence. But when fighting against the leaders of China for independence fails, they forcibly migrate to Laos sometime in the late 1700s to early 1800s. This is where today's story takes place. Let's look back at an early Vietnam War. War started to take fire, and America was in. Airplanes have been used as early as World War I, starting to take off during World War II. In Vietnam, planes became an essential part of war strategy. Ships posed problems with, to quote the AMC Museum Foundation, slow ship movements and the lack of suitable roads, ports, and railways. Despite the benefits planes gave Americans, it also posed problems. The number of crashes grew exponentially, many of which occurred over Laotian territory.
lúc xưa đó mà nhung chung chỉ tàu hàng theo in nông là mà cá thì nhung chơi cho li và ít bùa landing ít bùa take off đấy chứ.
In recent years, Laos had begun a shift in political views. The Laotian civil war was in full upstrike as the country fought over communism. Violence shook the nation as people became divided. The government had changed. They had decided, no matter who disagreed. The seeds of discontent had been planted. Banning the U.S. military from Laotian land continued to upset groups within the public. In short term, this may have slowed the fight in Vietnam, but in the end, this might have been their fatal mistake. The United States would not give up, finding a new way to protect their soldiers. Though, even with any efforts they go on to make, 728 soldiers will still die in Laos. Aren't they responsible for these soldiers? The debate goes as such. One side argues that they had no right to break the Laotian Band. For reasons such as the laws about morality, soldiers shouldn't have been flying over if they knew the risks, and a general disagreement for breaking the rules that Laos set. On the other side of the coin, human lives were at stake. It was a faster travel route, and during war, some rules are okay to be broken. The United States CIA agency comes in. They began to infiltrate the Laotian public, seeking out those who wanted to make changes. The U.S. sought out and hired thousands of Hmong citizens. The Hmong became essential in the war. Originally hired to save American pilots, they soon proved themselves invaluable.
Thằng đó mà cũng một cái anh kít ba thế thì đón nu thì cũng muốn đó là cho nhau tàu thầu vừa thì tia tàu lúc bằng con đoàn mường để nhau số là kia cũ nữa hay thì có hu nhung trời có họ có thả nhung trời có hu li hạt thả li nó nhung da có thả li nó chỉ có observe pe ở bên nông chỉ có bao lại nó chỉ cũng chỉ mình nhau thì chỉ cho lùn đó mà ni.
In the Vietnam War, nearly all supplies sent by northern Vietnam to fight at the border were sent on one trail, the Ho Chi Minh Trail. One of the main original goals of the CIA with hiring Hmong citizens was blocking the transportation here. With the major successes and numerous supply loads blocked, they began to increase the use of Hmong soldiers. They expanded to intelligence gathering, technological installations, rescue missions, and even ground fighting. All of this just to be abandoned. Abandoning the country, now seeking to destroy them. Now an entire race of people seen as traitors in Laotian government eyes. A mass genocide was called among the people. Before the war ended, the U.S. did do well supplying and defending its new secret soldiers. They sent around 50 tons of rice daily, feeding those who had been affected. but in February 1973, the U.S. relief program stopped. That's when Laos declared the people traitors. Even though some high-ranking officers were airlifted to Thailand with their families, thousands who had fought for the CIA or remained neutral in the war were left behind. The Laos government hunted down the Hmong people, placing them in concentration camps. Hmong villages were bombed and sprayed with chemicals, killing over 10% of the Hmong population, or around 35,000 people died. In 1975, over 20,000 people died of persecution, starvation, chemical spray, drowning, or simply killed by the communist path at Laos, says the Hmong American Center. Even those who were airlifted away, sent to a camp called Ban Vanai, the camp would lack electricity, plumbing, running water, and was overcrowded. Only a maximum of 3,000 Hmong people were ever evacuated by the U.S.
Về tôi cho tới khi nó y ổn định là
khó thế thì sẽ tôi thấy nó họ bị trả thế
vì hết anh chơi nhớ chỉ tao đấy, nghĩa là tôi mới tôi đến đợi tới nhớ chỉ tao đấy, cho chỉ sẽ anh chơi chỉ một cái sau đến chơi ít tôi chỉ tao là ít tôi xứ, khi chơi chỉ sẽ chỉ có lông tôi lấy xứ, chỉ bảo đại yêu用来家的，tôi lấy tôi xứ.
thầu nếu là cái gì别mò nếu là đến nó không sẽ dùng đi trả
là nó không chỉ
là giả theo xong thì nó nên
凶是có chỉ cho凶luôn nó nè lúc kia nó chỉ có chỉ cho để của đi chỉ nó thế này là hiện để rồi mình chỉ có một tụi凶cho luôn đi trong ban đầu lúc ra lúc gì có bây giờ bị thay cái nó gì có khi cái lúc rồi khi bị nó không khi cái nó gì có bây giờ nó把cái tụi họ cả把cái ở nhà tụi họ nó gì có chạy cái gì tụi nó trả cái gì có sự thì nó cũng để gì có sự tụi ba gì có thể nó bắt nó không sát tí mà như gì tại nè lòng là nó không như gì nè lấy chụp bao gì lấy vô lấy giả sự gì bây giờ nó gì khó trong này trong vô chụp lấy giả gì chỉ dùng ba kiểu kia này gì có khổ cho cái có cho cái là đáp lời tao trả lo nó sự gì tao nó chỉ có hồ đề sự gì chỉ ta tổ liên dùng ra khác gì đâu thế này
nên là nó cũng một tụi thôi
chỉ tổ liên.
Hi, I'm Elly. I'm one of the producers and editor of this documentary.
And I'm Corbin, the voice you've been hearing. Let's discuss rights and responsibilities.
The U.S. completely violated their rights, especially from the angle of the four freedoms, which the U.S. based their set of rights on.
Oh yeah, that's freedom of speech, religion, from want, and from fear. I guess they violated the right from fear.
And from what? The relocation of these people from the lives to a camp, where their basic needs usually aren't met, violates this.
And the way the Hmong people were abandoned in their time of need, as the government was actively trying to kill them, definitely breaks the idea of freedom from fear.
For responsibilities, the Constitution states a law that they broke during this time, like establishing justice, providing for the common defense, promoting the general welfare, and securing the blessing of liberty for future generations.
I see general welfare in the aspect that these people were not left in livable conditions like poverty, genocide, etc. But what about securing liberty for future generations?
I would say they violate this because they lost the historical land. And if they do eventually make it to the United States, they could easily get stuck in the poverty circle that catches a lot of minority groups. They clearly violate both rights and forget responsibilities to this day. They still haven't made any efforts to get reparations, so many people have never heard of the secret war. Make the effort, educate someone,